So I'm going to tell you just a quick story. When Denise asked me to speak to you guys here today, I said, sure. I said, do you have anything in particular you want me to talk about? And while I was waiting for her response to the email, I was sitting at my desk and I was just, writing out a few things. And I wrote, holding space for those who need us. And Denise came back with, how about holding space? I went, okay, I guess I'm supposed to talk about holding space. So who's heard of that term? Raise your hand. Do any of you know where it came from? It came from a Disney movie, Frozen. Evidently, it was in Frozen first, and then I guess TikTok made it famous. But it is so applicable to what we do in the treatment room. You guys know that when we're in a treatment room, we're not just doing, I call them fancy face washing, right? We do a whole lot of other things that are very, very important. I am the founder of Oncology Spa Solutions, and I am in the business of changing lives. I've been doing it for 16 years. I've done it in cancer centers. I teach all over the US. And why I called it that was because after teaching the class probably the first couple of times, I got so many people come back to me and said, Becky, your class literally changed my life. So what do I teach? How many of you have taken my class? Quite a few, thank you. So who needs us? Let's talk about that first. Who needs us? We have a lot of clients that come to us for different reasons, various reasons, right? We've got teens struggling with acne. We've got aging clients who are looking for ways to age graceful. We've got busy professionals who need stress relief and skin maintenance, and not always do we know what they're coming for when they come to see us, right? And have you ever had a client say something like this to you? I love what you do for my skin, but I really just love coming and being with you. Raise your hand if you've ever had a client tell you that. So what does that tell you? We do a whole lot more than skin, right? We also have individuals with sensitive or medically reactive skin conditions, and we're seeing a lot of these right now. So ever since COVID, we have seen about a 200% increase in certain cancers and almost the same amount in autoimmune diseases. So I'm sure you have clients who are coming in who are experiencing some skin conditions based on what's going on in their life that's different than it ever used to be. We've got men who are now coming to the spa a whole lot more than they ever used to, and we've got maybe a new mom who is adjusting to hormonal, and then let's throw in menopause, right? We learned about that today. So that has a plethora of things that it does to the skin. Brides or grooms who are preparing for special day. Transgender clients who are seeking affirming and inclusive skincare support. We've got just plain old burnout. Clients who are seeking a moment of peace and skincare support, maybe some personal care. And anyone who needs touch, connection, and healing beyond the surface. When I was in the very beginning of me teaching this class, I was trying to be really aware and pay attention to everything that happened in my life and what that meant in regards to what I was teaching. So I would go to a lot of spas. I wanted to see what you guys are doing out there. I wanted to see if people were getting the care that they were expecting, if people were getting the value, because that was me too. I was at the beginning of opening a business and I wanted to make sure I was doing everything right. And so I would hit a lot of different spas, and I'm telling you, I could write a book about some of the stories of things that happened. But one story in particular, one experience really kind of sealed the deal for me. I went to a large chain spa, and I had a massage, and I had a facial, and when I was done, I was back in the area where you're getting ready, you're showering and getting dressed and getting ready again. And I'm standing in front of the mirror. I had just done my hair, and I think I was combing it. And there was a lady standing next to me, and she said, "Don't you just love this?" Pretty innocuous thing to say, right? I said, "Yeah, I do." do you? And she said, oh, yes. She goes, I'm single. I have no one in my life who touches me. I have to come here for touch. And I want you to think about that for a moment, because, gosh, it almost makes me want to cry. I'm emotional, just so you know. I thought, first thing I thought was, what if the person she had that day, which she looked forward to for a month, for her touch, was in a hurry today, was mad at their boyfriend or girlfriend today, hated their job today? Was that person going to get what they came for? Probably not, right? And so every client that comes in to see us, guys, comes in for a reason. And I always say this, they're spending their time and their money with you. Make sure that you're giving them what they came in for, right? I'm going to also add in oncology clients because that's who I work with and have for the last 16 years. So it could be anybody who's facing grief, or it may be a diagnosis, or maybe a loss. And it isn't just cancer patients that go through that. Maybe it's somebody feeling unseen or dismissed by the traditional beauty or medical standards. Because I'll tell you, this happens a lot with oncology clients. They've lost their hair, they've lost their eyebrows, they don't recognize themselves in the mirror, they're struggling with their identity and everything that's happening with them right now. They oftentimes are turned away by a spa because the spa says, I'm sorry, I don't know how to work with you. And that breaks my heart. How about caregivers? Anybody in this room a caregiver on any level? Kind of wears you out, doesn't it? You have to give and give and give a lot. And so it's really important as a caregiver that you take care of yourself. But aren't you guys caregivers as estheticians? That's what we do. That is our job. So we need to take care of ourselves. So we're anyone in need of quiet, compassionate space that they can feel, just breathe, just be. So what do they all have in common? They all want to be heard, they all want to be seen, and they all need some touch on some level. Power of touch is extremely important. It's the very first sense that you have as a baby, and it's the last sense that you lose as an adult. So it's important. And I think it was Jim, somebody said, he's not here, but somebody said that the skin is, got neurons. Dr. J said this too, there's neurons. There's so much going on to that touch. It's not just touch. We're not just washing faces. In our treatment rooms, intentional touch can comfort, restore, and communicate to somebody that they're not alone. Does that statement right there scare anybody? That you feel like you have to be that person to make them feel like they're not alone? Do you feel like you have to know a lot? That you have to do a lot? You have to say the right things? I'll tell you that's not the case, and that's the wonderful thing about holding space, and we'll talk about it in just a minute. When done with compassion, our facial can become a form of emotional support, okay? Not just physical care, or not just a change that they're looking for. Microderm, micropeel, a hydrofacial, all of those are fabulous. But just think about what you can add personally to that service that will really create a bond between you and that client, and I'm telling you, you will have a loyal customer for life. So what does holding space mean? Basically, it means creating a safe, compassionate, and non-judgmental environment where someone feels seen, heard, and supported exactly as they are right now. So basically, it's showing up completely, being present with that client. And here's the best part. Remember I said, does this scare you that you have to know things? Part of holding space is no fixes. You're not going to give them advice. You don't have to tell them what to do. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to be with them. You just have to listen to them. You just have to hear them and meet them right where they are today. So that means for us in skincare, it goes way past just taking care of somebody's skin, and I think it's one of the most powerful things we offer. That first question I asked you when I asked if people come to see you for you, that's what they're doing. So holding space means being present without needing to fix, solve, or rush healing. And that means, I'm going to go back to rushing a treatment. When somebody comes in and they've been waiting a month for you, don't rush them. Let them know that they're important to you today, right? I had a massage. I brought my daughter over from Montana 3 weeks ago, and we had a big job to do, and at the end of the job, I treated her with both of us. It was one for her, one for me. We went and got massages. And they put us in a room together, so they did it like that, and I went, okay. Well, she had this great massage therapist who was intentional and focused and gave her the best treatment. My massage therapist left the room 3 times to answer the phone, 1 time to answer the door, 1 time to change the music. So the experience I had was a little different than what my daughter had, right? And yet the opportunity was there for her to give me the same type of treatment, but she blew it. Will I go back to her? Probably not, right? So listening deeply and honoring their emotional and physical needs. How do you listen to somebody? Anybody have a trick? What?
Stop talking.
Yeah, stop talking. I love that. And let them talk. And we don't have to think about what we're going to say when they're done with their sentence. Just let them talk and then let it sit. That's really important and very valuable. Offering calm and comfort in the midst of whatever they're going through. Respecting boundaries. And that means gently guiding them with expertise and empathy. And then creating a sacred space. So a moment where they can breathe, rest, and feel human again. When I first opened my treatment room at the Cancer Center, I had 2 rooms, and I went and got postcards from Vegas. And I put them on the outside of the door. And I loved it, because people go, why do you have Vegas on the outside of your door? It was my opportunity to tell them, because what happens here stays here. Because when somebody is, that doesn't happen in Vegas, but I can say it. When someone's going through something very difficult, whether it's cancer or a divorce or the loss of a job or whatever it is, I will tell you as women, because I am one, so I can explain that one, and maybe the guys in the room can explain how it is for men. But as women, we are caregivers. We are moms, so we worry about what our kid thinks. We're daughters, so we worry about what our parents think. We might be a wife, we will worry about what our spouse thinks, which means we might not be sharing what's going on in our world with them. But if they feel like they can come to you and share what's going on without it going anywhere else, they will. And the most important thing that you have to remember when they do that is just listen. You don't have to say anything. And trust me, as long as I've been doing this, something that happens with women when they go through breast cancer, because breast cancer is #1 for women, and don't ask me why, but this is the one. A huge percentage of them will leave their partner. Why do you think that is? Anybody have a guess?
They're not listened to?
Yeah, they're not listened to. And I think that being faced with a death sentence, a potential death sentence, makes you look around your surroundings and go, do I want to be here the rest of my life if I only have a little time left? So it happens a lot. And they'll complain about their spouse, and they'll tell you this, and you'll say, oh yeah, that sounds bad. Or you just let them talk. Because if you say anything, they're going to go back and say, I had a facial today, and my esthetician told me I should leave you. I learned that one early on. So skincare is a sacred ritual. You know, when you are teaching your clients how to take care of their skin at home, Do you go through the steps with them and make sure they understand what they're doing, why they're doing it, how they're doing it, why they're using this product? And I always tell them, set a time aside where you do this every day. Make it a ritual. Make it a sacred ritual. Turn on your favorite music. Kick everyone out of the bathroom. Take your time and do it right every day, every night, whatever it is. But for many clients who feel unseen or not themselves, a facial is deeply personal. Again, you've probably experienced this, but I, at the beginning of my facials, will touch my client's face. So it's my introduction to my touch to my client. And I just hold it. And I'll tell you, about 9 times out of 10, they cry. It's very personal. Our face is personal space, right? Who touches our face besides our esthetician and maybe your grandma? So reconnecting them with their body and skin is an act of healing. Again, I think I mentioned this in the beginning. They feel sometimes like their body let them down. I've had many clients who were vegan, yoga, they ran marathons, they were super healthy, they didn't eat anything junky, and they got cancer. They got really mad at themselves. Like, how could my body let me down? I did everything right. You know, and at some point we're going to find out. And in fact, there's a lot of stuff coming out about the cause of cancer, and it's not what we have traditionally thought. So it'll be interesting when this comes out. I can't spill the beans yet, but it's not what we think. And so when someone's going through that and they're feeling that way about themselves, it's important for you to help them reconnect with who they are. What we do when we're working with oncology clients is not about perfection. It's about presence, intention, and empathy. It's really just being there for somebody. We can give hope. You know, hope doesn't always come in words, as it says there. Sometimes it's just being there. There's something actually called presence therapy. And that is where someone will go in and sit with somebody who's going through a rough diagnosis of anything and just sit with them. You don't even have to say anything, right? It's creating a space where someone will feel seen, accepted, and cared for, and help, again, connect them with their identity and their self-worth. We live in a world right now, well, it's been this way for a while, but there's a lot of really high beauty standards. And one of the things that I've noticed, because I'm going to be 66 this year, is that why do we not embrace aging more? Why is it a bad thing to get old? Because me working with cancer patients, I meet many people who would give anything to get to be old. We should look at it as an achievement. Like, I get to grow old. I get to have these wrinkles. I was sharing with the aesthetics people over here, Alexander. I said I had this epiphany the other day that I was going to hop on YouTube, which this isn't me, so it was kind of funny. I'm in the car. And I was looking in the mirror and I went, oh my gosh, look at all these wrinkles, you know? But hey, this is a good thing, because I had cancer when I was 18 and told I would only live no more than 10 years. I got to go past that 10 years by many, and I got to get wrinkled. I should be happy about that. I should look in the mirror and on my little YouTube say, oh, look, I finally got crow's feet. Yay! This is good. That means I smiled a lot in my life. Oh, and lip lines, awesome. That means I kissed a lot in my life, right? So we need to change that perspective. Yes, youth is fun and youth is beautiful, but I think that aging is beautiful as well. And there's something really wonderful that happens as we age. It was mentioned earlier in the talks today, but it's experience. We get to have experience and wisdom, and we get to grow old, and I think that's fabulous. We give hope by showing up fully with heart, skill, and empathy again. How many in this room thinks you're an empath? Just so you know, that was practically every one of you. That goes along with being in our field. It's what we do. So I'm going to ask you guys, what do you do to take care of you when you're taking on all that grief, pain, suffering from your clients? Anybody have anything that you'd like to share? Anybody do anything fun?
Quiet walk in nature.
Love that. Yep, a quiet walk in nature.
Not only cry with them, but laugh with them.
Cry and laugh with them and feel like you can do both. Absolutely. Somebody else had another one.
Snuggles with the puppy.
What?
Snuggles with the puppy.
Oh, that's the best. Snuggles with the puppies. Yeah. Nature, animals, being with people that you love, all of those things help. So how do we hold space? Basically, we start with silence, and we're going to ask how they feel, but then let them talk and just listen. We're going to adjust my pace to theirs, so slow down if needed. And I said that earlier, no rushing with this client. They've waited a month for you. Give them your best. Give them the time that they scheduled for. I'm kind of not a fan of putting times on a treatment because people do look at that, right? So if you say 50 minutes, they're going to look at the clock and go, I only got 48 minutes, right? But if you just tell them it's an appointment and we'll see, we're going to do what you need, and when we're done, then they're not going to count and look at the clock. But make sure that we're giving them enough time. Use language that uplifts because words really do matter, as Jim said. Don't overpromise, but I'm sure none of you do that. Create a sensory experience. So this is really important. So anything that can calm. I like soft lighting. I like nice, calm music. Warm towels, aromatherapy, using a brush, using a console wand. So switch it up so there's different sensory things to kind of keep them in the flow and they keep them guessing. They don't know what you're going to do next. Acknowledge emotional moments without trying to fix them. That's my favorite part because men, plug your ears for a minute. Men are fixers. So if you've ever told your husband about a problem, he instantly jumps in to tell you how to fix it. I don't want him to tell me how to fix it. I don't want him to tell me how he would fix it. I just wanted to tell him, right? And so that's good for me to remember when I'm working with this client. I'm not going to fix her. I'm not going to tell her what I think she should do or where she should go. I'm just going to let her talk. And so why does this matter? Because somebody going through cancer treatment or any illness often feels very isolated and disconnected from their bodies and also from other people. They'll also pull themselves away and isolate themselves. So by holding space and offering safe, informed, nurturing care, we can build their sense of self again. And this again is where skincare becomes service, where compassion meets science. So you guys have the right products, because that's important too. You gotta have the right tools for the trade. Make sure you have products that can answer their needs for their skincare, and then the rest you're gonna give them through your touch. So we are more than technicians. You are a safe haven, a support person, a source of comfort, and an oasis. I had somebody one time tell me that she pictured that when she thought of what we do as estheticians, that we are the oasis in a wild and crazy world, right? How nice for you to be that place that they go, ah, and they can just be. Clients may not remember your serum, but they will remember how you made them feel. And this is how we change lives. I say one touch at a time. This is a note that I got from a patient at the cancer center, and it's an interesting note because I only met her once, only did one service on her. And she said, "Dear Becky, one of my highest compliments I can think of is to thank you for what you do. It has become my acknowledgement of outstanding customer service to people who have a soul, people to whom people matter. You have become a treasured find in my cancer journey." And I've often thought, how do we make such an impact on somebody in one visit to have a note like that, right? It's being fully present, giving her all of my time and attention while I was with her. I've got two different stories. This little gentleman is named Jayden, and he was introduced to me by somebody in one of my support groups who, he just said, "I have a friend who has cancer, I don't know what the deal is, but could you go see him?" And this was in the very beginning of my career as an oncology esthetician. And I thought, how am I going to do this? First of all, I don't go to see people, so why did I say yes? What am I going to do when I get there? Oh, and he's a man. What am am I gonna talk to him about, right? He's probably not gonna ask me about skincare, but I committed, so I went. And I got there, knocked on the door, his wife opened the door and invited me in, and sitting in the middle of his living room was this gentleman with that smile, sitting on a chair in the middle of his living room. So I walked over and introduced myself and said hello. He shared with me that he had a stage 4 stomach cancer and that they had already done everything that they could. He was now going into the hospice bed in the back bedroom. If someone told you that, what would you say? I know, I didn't know either. So guess what I said? Oh, well, are you having any issues with your skin? And I was one of those like this. How could I have asked that? But it turned out to be the right question. So I said, oh, okay, great. He said, yes, I have super dry skin. Can you help me with that? I had brought my body cream with, so I put body cream on his hands and his arms and just continued talking to him for about 5 minutes. And then I went to leave and I went to shake his hand and I said, thank you for allowing me to come to your home and meet you and talk with you. It was a real pleasure. If you'd like me to come back, just let me know. And he said, well, first of all, he took my hand and he held it up to his face and then he kissed it. And he said, you have no idea what you just did for me. I have thirsted for touch like that. I had a quivering lip. I said, you're welcome. Gathered my stuff, went out to my car, closed the door, and burst into tears. And I went, what the heck just happened? I only was with this guy 15 minutes. How did he impress me like that, and how did I impress him like that? And the answer was super easy. What was it? Touch. Touch, intentional, and being present. I don't have time to do the next story, but I will tell you I've got many of them. And final thoughts, remember every client that lies on your table is a chance to do more than just treat their skin. It's a chance to hold space, offer hope, and change a life. And I believe that's the heart of what we do. Because what we do is not just a facial. You are a part of something bigger. So I'm going to challenge you to always show up with heart, because everything you do creates ripples far beyond the treatment room. And you guys know this too. When you do something really well in the treatment room, they tell their friend, and they tell their friend, right? And maybe they tell their doctor, and maybe they tell somebody that can open another door for you. You never know how far that ripple is going to go. So keep caring, keep going, keep changing lives, and make sure that in your treatment rooms, you'll think of me next time you're in your treatment room. Hold space.
Wow.
Yeah.